Hey there, and thanks so much for being here. Hi, I'm Teresa from 360 Handmade Bags, and welcome to my sewing studio and my YouTube channel. If you're new to my channel, thank you so much for hopping in and checking out my bag making tutorials. And if you're already part of the family, thanks a lot for coming back and watching. So infomercial, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. It goes a long way to helping to boost my channel, and I get back with comments fairly fast. And also quickly that I always keep in mind that there are brand new bag makers out there, just like I was 3.5 years ago. And I go into detail showing how to do things in detail. The different steps. So all of our seasoned and veteran bag makers, thanks for hanging in. And even though you know how to do all these things, thanks for watching. But I always keep in the back of my mind that there are newbies out there, just like we all were at some point in time. Alrighty, so with reference to getting back to comments, I had Ida from Norway contact me a couple of days ago asking me if I was going to do the Andie backpack from Purses by Holly. And yes, I was. That was on my next to-do list. And thank you so much, Ida, for contacting me and asking me to do this pattern. I really appreciate it, because this is not going to be the last Andie backpack that I make. This is an amazing bag, so check this out. Look at this backpack. Isn't that stunning? That is such a gorgeous bag. It's not a big, huge bag. It's about the size of a regular handbag, but a little taller. All fabric that I have used is exterior and interior is from Sam Fabric Creation in Quebec. So check out this gorgeous croco as a contrast, as an accent. Now, I thought that this was all black when I first saw it, and I didn't realize there's this beautiful blue, and it's a very, very dark navy. So I paired that together with this dark navy solid faux vinyl or faux leather, and look at that. How gorgeous is this bag? So check out the features. You have this wonderful handle with rectangle rings on the top and with hidden connectors. You have a side pocket and a side pocket, and these are quite large, so it will fit my Samsung S25 Ultra, which I absolutely love having access, immediate access to my phone. I don't want to have to get into a zipper pocket or anything like that. And you even have room on the one on this side to put a water bottle in. All right, so on the bottom, we have purse feet. The pattern calls for 4 purse feet, but I put a 5th one in the center. And then on the back, we have these backpack straps. I used 1-inch wide webbing. Pretty good match to that faux leather. And then you have a beautiful zipper pocket with a cover over the zipper, and a beautiful zipper pocket on the back to put all of your, if you're traveling, to put your passports in, or your phone if you want to, you know, have things a little more secure. There's the gorgeous lining from Sam Fabric. You'll see it better inside. So there's a beautiful large zipper on the back. It has a turn lock here. And of course, we've got the blue, dark blue croco paired with the dark navy as well. So open up the flap. There's that gorgeous lining. Isn't that pretty? And then you have on either side magnetic snaps. The first time I've done them, so I've learned something new, to open it up and look at the size of this bag. This bag is huge. You can fit a lot. This would be a great bag for a student, a university student, or even a work bag, it'd be perfect. So on the back wall, you have a zipper overlay and a large size zipper pocket here. And then on the front wall, you have, it's hard to see because it's sitting further down, you have a slip pocket, a double slip pocket here. And lots of room for sunglasses or whatever. And it has an overlay as well. So look at this. You do up your magnetic snaps and your twist lock. This is an absolutely gorgeous bag. Holly, you knocked it out of the park with this one. And it was easy to follow the pattern. I hate following a pattern. I've always been boom, 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 and very anal perfectionist. And I used to write manuals on how-to manuals. I used to write language for union collective agreements. Now, I don't know what it is getting older. I just can't seem to follow step by step, which is why I absolutely love a bag making tutorial. And thank you, YouTube, for having all of us content creators making these bag making tutorials, because following a pattern has never been my forte when I started bag making. But this pattern, Holly, was very, very easy to follow step by step. Your pictures in the pattern were fantastic. Very clear, very precise, and it was a very easy bag to make just to follow the pattern. So figure out what colors and fabrics you're going to use and make this, get everything together to make the Andie backpack from Purses by Holly. And thank you again, Ida, for asking me to do this bag. It was a real pleasure to do, and it will not be my last Andie backpack. All right, I've done a little bit of prep ahead of time and off camera. So with your accent pieces, you have one long one for the front flap accent. Pattern piece K, you've got 2 accents cut, and pattern piece L, you have 2 accents cut. My accent is going to be the same as my flap and my side pockets. So with these 3 pattern pieces, what you do is just put double-sided tape down one raw edge and fold the raw edges into together with each other. So I did that for the 2 pattern piece Ks and the 2 pattern piece Ls, and we'll just put those aside for the moment. Now with pattern piece Q, which is the handle anchor, you have 2 exterior, and these double-sided tape on both sides, and either draw a center line or crease it into the center and fold your double-sided tape into the center, or your raw edges into the center, sorry, on both pieces. And then we'll top stitch down each edge on both pieces. Okay. And I'll just burn those threads off, even though they're going to be folded. All right. Then with pattern piece O, which is your top handle, you have one exterior cut, and I'm using the, it's hard to see, but it is blue. There is blue in there, and it's the Croco. So I have a center line drawn, and we'll fold both raw edges into the center. All right, just like that. Now, the pattern calls for 3/4 inch rectangle rings. Now, number one, I don't stock rectangle rings in my stash. So I kind of make my own rectangle ring when I take one of my Tri-Glide sliders, and I just take my pliers and I pull off this center bar, and then you have an instant rectangle ring. All right, so feed your rectangle rings on, making sure, I'm going to make sure they're both going the same direction. Then take your two ends and unstick them. Just open them up like this on both. Line up your short raw edges. And then stitch them across at the seam allowance in the pattern. Get rid of that double-sided tape, or you're going to get it stuck on your sewing machine bed if you can get rid of it. I'm going to be very loud with the swivel with the rectangle rings. All right, and then open up your seam. I hope you can see. Let me just move my light down a bit more. And then open up your seams, and then refold those edges back into the center. If you need more double-sided tape to stick it, then do that, but just fold them up and turn right side out. So you can either have the handle with the seam in the center, so that when it's under, so when you're holding it, it's underneath, or you can have it right at one of those D-ring connectors or rectangle ring connectors. Okay, I think I'm going to have the seam in the center, so that it isn't in my way when I stitch as close as I can get to the rectangle ring. So ensure that your folded edges are even and that your rectangle ring is centered, and that's not too bad for size. The 1 inch seems to work. I didn't put tape here, so I'll just clip that. All right. And I'm going to pull my threads to the back, but I'm going to top stitch all the way across here, down each side, and make a nice box to seal up this handle. And getting as close as I can to that rectangle ring as well. just pull those threads to the back. All right. I'm not sure if you guys can hear the birds all chirping, but it sounds such a happy sound. It's so nice to hear. Probably yelling at me because I haven't filled their feeder. Oops, okay, trim those off and then I'll just burn the ends. Okay. All right, and there is our handle. I'll be back. Okay, so we're going to finish off the handle by putting our connectors on that we have already top stitched. All right, with your pattern piece Y, which is the flap, you have an exterior and one lining. So your exterior piece, lay it on your table with the short straight edge closest to you and the curved edge away from you. In the pattern, there is a certain measurement. I think you can see it, to mark a line down to this point, and then from this line another measurement, and then from each end a measurement, and draw a vertical line, and then with the vertical line you're going to cut that vertical line. Then you're going to take your handle and starting with one end and with our clipped handle connectors, slide the two of them together into that slit. It'll be snug, which is okay. And pull it right to the end. And I'm going to get some double-sided tape. So on this side, so we have it pulled right in as close as we can get, and you'll see that it folds that cut edge into the to the wrong side. So I'm going to take some double-sided tape, pull back this edge, and on this end of the connector, I'm going to put a piece of double-sided tape, and on the other side, I'm going to put a piece of double-sided tape. All right. I'm going to remove the backing off the top piece, and this will just hold it in place, and we're going to make sure it's pulled in, and I'm going to lay that down, ensuring that the strap, that connector fits in between these two lines, and it's connected to this side. Then you're going to flip it to the wrong side, take the backing off the double-sided tape, and then you're going to take this piece of the connector, I've never done this before, this is pretty cool, and fold it so that they're going to look like that. And then what we will do is we're going to top stitch across here and then lift that up and top stitch across here on the underside to catch these two in, and eventually we'll rivet it. So we'll do this one first, closest to the rectangle ring. And I'll pull my threads to the back. And then I'll sew the other one. Catching that as best as I can. And I'll okay. And we will pull the threads. This is a really neat way to do the connectors. Pull the threads and tie them off. You've got 4 to do. You know, it's great when you're doing bag making and it's not the same thing all the time. I enjoy learning new skills. And it's always good to improve your skills, but also to be learning new ones all the time. And then when I tie my knots, when I pull my threads to the back, I always do 2 ties in one hole. It stops it from popping open when you make your first tie. And the last one. And as usual, take the lighter to those threads to make sure that they stay secure. That is pretty slick. This is what it looks like right now, and this is on the underside. And then we repeat for the other side. All right, so I have the handle now installed, and I've top stitched on either side of the connector, and now I have also off camera put rivets underneath on through each end like that. Okay, so now we're going to take this flat piece and the accent, oops. Okay, so now we're going to take our flap and the accent strip that you have cut. Now to help things, I've put double-sided tape all around the raw edge, and we're going to lay our accent on here. Clip if you have to, just to be on the safe side. And clip it so that the edge, the folded edge, is inward, like that. And just lay the edge, the raw edges together. You'll be going around some curves. That's why the clips help and the double-sided tape helps. All right, so we have it all clipped around, and now we're going to base that on at a 1/8 inch seam allowance. All right, and I'm just going to trim this little piece off. All right, so there it is, stitched on, basted on. Then take your lining piece Y and right sides together and clip it on. I'm going to put double-sided tape around here again. Use 1/4 inch. No, I'll use 1/8. Double-sided tape just helps it stick, even though I'm clipping it. All right. Okay, so you're going to have to squish your handle down out of the way when you get to it, but right sides together and line up all of your raw edges. And even though I have the double-sided tape there, I'm still going to clip. All right, we have it all clipped, and I'm going to stitch around the perimeter at the seam allowance in the pattern. Using the top end, we're not going to be closing this end, but making sure that you can get access to your handle to pull it out of the way. Okay. Okay, I'm just going to take my scissors just to snip around these curves just so that they'll sit better, making sure that I don't snip my stitches. All right, and now we turn this right side out. Very cool. Okay, as I turn it out, I'm going to be clipping it because we will be top stitching around this. Just want to make sure it's all clipped flat. Get those curves pulled out on the corners. And I'm just going to clip all the way around, just ensuring that everything's pulled out. Actually, I'm not going to be able to. My clips aren't long enough. All right, so we're going to top stitch, ensuring everything's pulled out. And flat, and I'm going to top stitch all the way around this fold. Very nice. Now I did my trim the same as my flap, but this is an opportunity where you can have a contrasting color there, or an similar color but slightly different pattern, but I wanted to do tone on tone. Okay, I'll be back. All right, so now we're going to install the female portion, or the female half of our swivel clasp, swivel lock, onto the flap. So in the pattern, there's a specific measurement to measure up from the edge of the flap to here. And I've traced my female portion hole. Now, I don't have the right size punches. I don't have the punches to punch this, but I saw this on another bag maker's channel, which I thought was pretty cool. So I can't take credit for it. If you have a punch like this, which I have 3 different size punches that came with my grommet set for to punch the grommet holes. So I have 3 sizes, and then that's the smallest one. These ones were too big for the ends of the of my drawing of my where my female portion goes. So I took the smallest one, lined the punch up with the edge of the curve on both sides, and then I punched holes right there. You can just see it. And I punched the holes there. And put that away. Then all I need to do now is, because that kind of gives me a curve, then I'm just going to take my sharp snips and go cut around that little traced area and make sure that I've got that cut out, that oval cut out. Just doing the curves like that helps you get a good start, and it helps you get a good curve too. Okay. So this part goes on the right side. It goes on the right side of your fabric, of your flap. Right. So this is like Beacon's Fabri-Tac, but I get it at Walmart. So it's the Walmart brand. It's very similar to Beacon's Fabri-Tac. And you have to cut the end. This is brand new, so I'm going to have to cut the end off to open it up. They don't come open. Anyhow, all right. And what I will do is on this side, you have the part that's going to go on the right side of your fabric or your flap. On the underside, I got these at Walmart or at Amazon. You have prongs. So the prongs have to be sitting up like this. I'm going to put some of this fabric glue just on the very interior, just a thin amount, just to help it stick to the fabric. Guess I needed a pointier end. All right, try not to have too much here because I don't want it oozing out. Put your prongs through that hole that you just made. Stick it in there. And that glue will help hold it onto your flap. And then I'm going to put glue on the underside of the washer. Just a little bit. And pop the prongs through, and I'm just going to fold the prongs over a bit and then flip it to this side, and I want to make sure that this is sitting straight. Okay. And that glue will set. And I'm just going to pound or push these prongs in more to secure them better. There we go. And then you can wipe the glue off if there's any glue on the underside, which with me there always is. Okay. Just tuck that fabric into that clasp. So you can't see it. And there is our turn lock, the female portion of it. All right, I'll be back. All right, so now we're going to be taking pattern piece V, which is our base. And just a couple of things with regards to this piece is this is the only piece that I'm kind of putting any interfacing on because all of my vinyls and faux leathers and my lining have a little bit of substance to it. So I feel that it's going to, I don't want a super structured bag, but I don't want a super slouchy bag either. But sometimes what I do on the base or some of the pieces is if I have a scrap piece of faux leather or vinyl, then I'll use that as a stabilizer. If it's just a small piece, just to get rid of it. So that's what I have done on the base here, because I did want the base to have a little bit more, I wanted it to be a little more stable. So I have already put, now the pattern has markings for 4 purse feet, but I did 5, so I did one in the center. So these are the purse feet that I use, and they have prongs and they have a washer, small washer. The prongs, you pop through the hole that you've punched with your hole punch. And these have to be the hardest things to pry open, to get your thumbnail in there and pry them open, because guaranteed I've broken many, many nails doing this. So I saw this on somebody else's channel. If you have a staple remover or anything, even like a little nail file to pry in between, but if you take your staple remover and stick it in between the points, in between those prongs, and just give it a little click. Just a little thing just to open them up. Just like that. That helps. This is genius. Using your staple remover just to pry those open. I'm telling you, it has saved my nails. So then pop the center hole of your washer into the prong, into the your prongs into the washer, and then splay your prongs open like butterfly wings. Now, watch, depending on where your feet are placed, if is how you want to have your prongs open. This, it doesn't matter whether I have them going this way or turned this way. But if it's close to the edge, then you want to make sure that how you open up your prongs doesn't get in the way of a stitch line. And then I just take duct tape and I put the duct tape over top of each of the prongs just to cover them so that it protects the lining. From the prongs and from the washer. And just stick them on like that. And there we have our purse feet on our base. And I'll be back. All right, so working with pattern piece A, the front panel, you have one exterior. There's a measurement in the pattern to measure from the bottom edge to this point to install your bag tag logo if you have one. So I've already done that. And then there's another measurement measuring from the top to the center. Make sure your centers are marked top to bottom to ensure that that is all lined up. And I'll just give it a quick check. Yeah, perfect. And that's where you're going to install the male portion of your twist lock. So I've already made my marks for the washer that comes with it, and I put duct tape at the back, and I'll just make those slit marks. And the duct tape helps to protect the fabric and help stabilize the turn lock. All right, so before I put the prongs in, I'm just going to take some of this fabric glue and cover those prong holes and across that edge, the center, just to make sure that the twist lock stays on there. Pop that back into the prong holes. A little tricky getting the washer on the back and holding this on at the same time while you open up those prongs. Here we go. And then duct tape across the back edge of the prongs and the washer, just to protect it as well. And there we go. Just like that. And if we were to take our flap and put it on, there it is, just like so. This is pretty cool. I like this. This is going to be a really nice bag. All right, I'll be back. Alrighty, you're going to need your pattern piece L side pocket accents, which we have already folded. We have 2 of them. And your pattern piece X side pocket, you have 2 exterior and 2 lining. Now, the top of your pattern piece is the longer side, and the bottom is the shorter side. So I'm going to put double-sided tape across the top edges of each of these pieces on the right side, so right side up. And we're going to make a side pocket sandwich. All right, take the backing off one of your pieces and take one of your side pocket accents, and we're still going to clip it. And attach, stick it right with the raw side, the raw edges together, and clip. And do that for the other piece. It's like what we did with the flap. Same process, similar. Okay. Then take your lining piece, take one of your lining pieces and right sides together. Line up, ensure that your side edges are in alignment, and then clip this to the top edge of your exterior and your accent. All right, just like that, and do it with the other piece as well. All right. Then we're going to sew along this, flip it and top stitch, and then baste all of the raw edges together. So stitch this at the seam allowance in the pattern and the other piece as well. All right, and then we're just going to flip these, line up our sides, and clip all the sides, down the sides and the bottom edges on both pieces. Just grabbing this trim to pull it. And clip the sides. Okay, and do the same for the other side. All right. And we will baste across this top edge, the folded edge, or sorry, top stitch across the folded edge, and then baste all the way around the exterior, the perimeter, all at 1/8 of an inch seam allowance. All right, so if there's any overhang on your edges of your side pockets, then just trim that off. All right, and take pattern piece B, side panel. You have two exterior cuts. So now my exterior is the solid navy. Take one of your side pockets and line up the bottom corner, the bottom right corner, and the right side. Now she has a certain way to sew this in, to baste it in. So clip the right side, line up those raw edges. And we're going to just baste down this one side first. All right, then we're going to clip the bottom. We're going to clip across the bottom edge. We're creating a little 3D pocket here. Actually, I think I can clip this and sew it. It's almost like the retro sling. All right. And then I'm going to match up my sides so we can do it all at the same time, hopefully. Line up your sides, raw edges, and you're going to create a little pouch here for your side pocket, which will be great to put a water bottle or anything like that. Okay, so you can see that there's a little bit of a pouch here. And I've clipped down this side and the bottom, and I'm going to baste that on as well. Just making sure that I keep those raw edges, especially down that left side, in alignment with the raw edge of the back piece. Back stitch up that corner. Okay, and pivot. Okay, and there is one of our side pockets. That looks pretty neat. All right, and then we will do exactly the same with the other pocket. So I'm going to line up that bottom right corner and clip. And I'm going to baste that one on first. Oops. All right, and then I'll clip the bottom and the other side, and then we'll baste that on as well. This is pretty neat. I like this. And then line up the raw edges on this other side. Just kind of ease that in a little bit better. Okay. Okay, and then I'm just going to baste all the way around the bottom and that other side. All right, so put your two sides side by side. And then we're going to take our pattern piece K, which is the front side accent, and you have two pieces that we have already folded. And we're going to have the fold, this one on this side, folding to the fold on the left, and on this side, the fold on the right. And then we're going to clip those and baste them on. Line up the raw edges for both of them. Just got it clipped on this one side, and then we'll clip on this side, and then they'll be mirrored. This is pretty slick. Okay, so we have them like this. So this is how when you're looking at it, you're going to see it like this. One pocket, the other pocket, and then your two facings, your two accent pieces. All right, and then we're just going to baste those on at 1/8 of an inch seam allowance. Okay, we're going to be installing the side magnetic snaps. This is new for me as well. I mean, I've installed magnetic snaps up the yin-yang, but I've never made a bag where it gets folded together and snapped together at the sides. So there are specific measurements in the pattern, and there's a certain measurement down and from the raw edge in to make a mark for one of your magnetic snaps, and then on this side with the accent, a measurement down and in on this side. So that's for both of them. Now keep in mind that the side closest to your accent fold is the female, and that's the male. So we're going to install these. Now this is what I do. I stabilize everything on the back with duct tape. So I've made my mark, and I'm going to take my stylus and poke it dead center of that mark. And then I'm going to take my little piece of duct tape and stick that in the center of my stylus so that that now creates a hole on the front and back that I can see. And I'm going to take my washer, line up this hole with those marks that I made, making sure that the slit marks on the washer are up and down. And I'm just going to make my slit marks, draw my slit marks on at each hole, on each piece. Okay, just like that. And then take your seam ripper, jack your seam ripper, and slit each of these lines. Or if you have sharp scissors that you like to use, I use my seam ripper. Just don't stab yourself from underneath. Okay, so the female I'll be putting in this hole and the male in this hole. And the female, for those that are new to bag making, is the piece that has the little indent. So I'll pop it in those holes and I'll put the washer over top of the prongs, and then I'll splay my prongs out. And then I push the prongs down against my desk to hold them in place. And then in this piece, it will be the male. So there's the male. If you're not familiar with bag making, you can't mistake it. It's got a little nub. And do exactly the same. Pop those prongs in the holes. Put your washer over top of the prongs. Splay your prongs out, and then I just push them against my desk. And then that will create this kind of thing. Pretty neat, huh? This is really nice. I've never done this before. So we'll do the same on this side. So on the left side, because it's closest to your accent that we've basted in, I'll put the female portion half on, and then open up my prongs, push them down, oops. And then the male portion on this side. And then I'm just going to flip them over, and I get duct tape to cover each prong and washer to protect and to hold it in place. This actually helps to hold it in place. Oops. This is pretty neat. So there, it'll probably look something like that, and like so. This is going to be really sharp. So there we have this part done at this point in time. Alrighty, we're going to work with pattern piece E, your bottom back panel, and pattern piece N, back pocket lining. So with pattern piece E, the bottom back panel, you just have one exterior, and your pattern piece N, back pocket lining, you have two linings cut. So we'll just put that aside for a moment. And you're going to need your 8.5 inch zipper. So make sure that your zipper pull is on, and melt the ends of your zipper just to prevent fraying. All right, now double-sided tape across the top edge, which is the longer edge, is the top. It's longer and shorter going down. So double-sided tape across the top edge. And ensure that your zipper pull is pulling to the left, closing to the left. So then we're going to take this edge of the zipper. It's hard to see, I'm sorry. It's hard to see because it's black on navy. All right. We'll put it this way. So there's the top edge. The double-sided tape is here. And there is our zipper with the zipper pull on. Number 5 zipper tape I use. And I get my zipper tape from Amazon. Get 10 yards with the zipper pulls for like $20 Canadian. All right, so this bottom edge of the zipper, because we have the zipper pull closing to the left, take this bottom edge, turn it upside down, and center that over top of your double-sided tape across the top edge of your back panel piece. and then double-sided tape across the wrong side of the zipper, creating a zipper sandwich. And then take one of your pattern piece N, the back pocket lining, so take one of the linings and right sides together, line up your side edges and the top raw edge. And then we're going to stitch across the top edge, flip it, and top stitch. When you get to your zipper pull and it's in the way, make sure your needle is down. Lift your presser foot, find your zipper pull, and move it out of the way. All right, and then pull everything up here. We're going to clip. Line up your sides and just put a couple of clips down each side just to hold it in place. Pull your lining down and your exterior, and then we're going to top stitch across this edge here. Oh, the zipper pull is not going to be in my way. All right, just like that, and I'll be back. All right, you're going to take pattern piece D, the zipper cover, and you have one exterior, and put double-sided tape along one of the long edges, and fold the two long raw edges together. And then I'm going to run double-sided tape across the top edge of the zipper. Right side up. This panel is right side up. And then we're going to line up the raw edge. Oh, before we do that, we have to top stitch along the folded edge here. Okay, and then we're going to lay the the raw edge along the top edge of that zipper, ensuring that your side edges line up as well. Just like that. All right, so we're at this point where we have our zipper cover on, and I'm just going to baste this on at this point. All right, just like so. All right, so now we're going to take pattern piece C, the top back panel, and you have one exterior cut for that. On the top of this panel, there's a measurement in the pattern, beginning of the pattern, to mark down from the top edge to this and draw a line. We're going to take the bottom edge of this piece with double-sided tape, I have it, and we're going to line it up with the raw edge of our zipper back panel piece and the zipper cover, ensuring that our sides are lined up as well. And then we're going to flip it all over to the lining side up. We're going to take our remaining pattern piece N, the back pocket lining, and double-sided tape across the top, the wrong side of the zipper. This gets pretty, this is getting pretty thick up here. And take your other lining piece, right side together with the lining piece that we've already sewn in. Line up the top raw edge with the zipper edge, ensuring all of your sides are lined up. All right, just like that. And then we're going to stitch across all of this. Got the seam allowance in the pattern. Get it underneath my presser foot. So we're going to fold this out of the way and this out of the way. Just ensure that everything's folded out of the way. And we're just going to sew the bottom edge. It's a little, you have one section that's a little longer, and we're going to trim that off. Well, we can just sew across and then trim it. Okay, so we're just going to sew across that edge and then trim it. Okay, and I'll just trim off the excess overhang here. All right, so now we are going to just top stitch across this folded edge. And we're going to baste down the sides. And that will seal up the sides of our zipper pocket as well. So clip your sides. All right, so we're going to top stitch across here and stitch down here and stitch down that side. And we'll stitch down the sides. All right, so there is the right side and the wrong side. I'm going to trim off these little zipper ends that are just a little too long. There goes Murphy, barking at squirrels, I'm sure. All right, and I'll just melt those zipper ends again so they don't fray. Now, there is a measurement in the pattern that this needs to measure from top to bottom. All right, so working on this panel, the back panel, in the pattern, ensure your centers are marked top and bottom. In the pattern, there is a measurement from the top edge to draw a horizontal line. And then from this horizontal line, draw another line and then mark your center on both those lines. And then on your flap, put double-sided tape along the raw edge. Take the backing off. And then lay your center. I've got a center mark on my flap, and then lay the flap along the first line you drew, ensuring that it's in this, that you've got it in lined up in the center. And I'll just check my measurement here. Excuse me. Okay. So we have it like that, the flap. Keep it this way. And then we're going to, there's a certain measurement to measure from each edge on the flap. Okay. Just like so. There's one mark, and then you can see the mark on the other side. Now I'm using webbing, 1-inch webbing for my strap. So I'm going to turn this panel up with the flap heading up towards my windows. Put my zipper in the center. And then I'm going to be lining up this way. I'm going to put double-sided tape just on this either side of these marks. So on the inside of the of the marks where we made the marks, then that's where the strap is going to be put on. Just remove the double-sided tape. Okay, and I will lay that right at that mark, right along the raw edge of the flap, and I'll do the same for this side. Okay, just like that. All right, so now we're going to take pattern piece G, the flap cover. You have one exterior piece. And I'm going to mark a center line. And double-sided tape on either edge, and we're going to fold those raw edges into the center line. All right, and then we'll just take the double-sided tape off and fold these edges into the center. Okay, so we have that strip there. We put double-sided tape down the center of our strap, of our flap cover. Get all these pieces. All righty. Put your straps, make sure your straps are straight. Take the double-sided tape off. And then you're going to line up one of these edges, folded edges, along the second line that we drew. And it will cover the flap and your strap. So it will now look like this. All right, so now we will top stitch across this folded edge and top stitch across that folded edge. Making sure your straps, I'm going to go this way, might be easier. Okay, fold that up. Okay, now, so there we have it stitched on and our straps are in place. Now where we have the straps, I'm going to place rivets. I'm going to center rivets here. Let's find my guideline for where my strap is, and I'll put it. Okay. I don't know if I can get in there. I'm going to use my Japanese punch because I don't think I can get in there with my hand hole punch. All right. Didn't go through. A lot of layers to go through. Okay. Okay, and then I'll get some rivets. All right, so now we're going to be working on the strap connectors, and I'm using the webbing as my strap connector. So I have 4 inches long and it's 1 inch wide, and of course I have 1 inch wide hardware instead of the 3/4 inch. So you need 2 rectangle rings for this part. So in order, as I mentioned before, in order to make rectangle rings from a tri-glide, just take your pliers, pull the center sliding bar off, and voila, you have a rectangle ring. Very easy and less expensive if you don't want to be buying extra hardware. All right, so then take your D-ring or your rectangle ring, feed it onto your strap connector, and then just clip the ends. I'm just going to clip it up by the D-ring, by the rectangle ring, just to keep it together. Okay, so we have our rectangle rings and the connectors lined up like this. And then on the bottom edge, there's a certain measurement from the raw edge of the strap, and make a mark on the bottom edge, and then do it on the other side. And then on the top edge of each connector, there's another certain measurement to draw a line on the top. Okay, so if you have them facing this way, look at the blue marks, my pen marks. So you have one mark here on the top and 1 mark here on the bottom. And then here, 1 mark on the top and 1 mark on the bottom. This is the placement diagonal for how we place these connectors onto the back of our bag. All right, so on the back panel here, there's a certain measurement. To measure up from the bottom edge. And just to make a mark on either side with an erasable marker. Okay, and we have ours going like this. So with taking the right hand strap connector, and with this line on the bottom, line it up with that mark. I'm going to put double-sided tape across here, up from that mark, right along the edge here, about an inch. Put it on, and that'll help hold the connectors on. Okay. All right, so this went that way. Okay, so with the right hand strap connector, line up the bottom mark with this line here. Okay, I see. And it's going to be tilting upward. Cool. This is pretty neat. My clips. All right, so this is how it looks. Oh. Of course, the D-ring connectors come off. Clip that on the bottom end. So it looks like this. Try and hold this on. So the bottom mark, we have that line. We have the lines that we drew here, right there. And the bottom mark lines up with that. And then this top mark lines up with the edge up here. And then your connector is going upward. Very cool. Very cool, Holly. And clip that in place. And then do the same for the other side. Bottom line. And then that turns up like that. And they should be even. And clip them into place. Okay, looking like that. All right, so we're going to baste these on, and we're not cutting the overhang. And then we're going to rivet them on. All right, so we're just going to baste. and I'll repeat for the other side. All right, and then we'll rivet. Doesn't want to work. Okay, so I'll make the marks for my rivets. And I'm going to use fray check because I'm using webbing. So I'm going to put a drop of fray check in those holes. And pop the rivets in. And then we'll set the rivets. All right, there are our strap connectors. Right, so make sure your straps are straight and take one of your strap adjusters, and I'm using these plastic black ones and they have teeth on them so they work better with webbing. And feed your strap on, each one. And also these ones, this is the right side because it has a curve. All right, so take one of your straps with your slider and going over the top of your rectangle ring, feed it through the top, come up from underneath, and we're going to feed it through the underneath of the slide. So make a peak like this, and then take the end and feed it through the underside. So feed it through here into the little peak, and then grab that end, pull it, and then feed it up through the other end, just like that. And there you have it sliding. And I'm just going to leave that right at the moment and do the other one. So making sure your straps are straight. Take the strap end, feed it through the top of the rectangle ring. Make a peak with the other strap. Come up from underneath through the first hole, up through the peak, and over the bar. Over, through, around, just like on Sesame Street. Okay. And the top part of the strap should be what slides. And the underneath, we're going to take the underneath like this. We're going to fold this over about 1/2 inch. And then we're going to, on the underside of the strap, because the top strap has to be the one that slides, fold it over about 1/2 inch, an inch. I'm going to say an inch. Let's do an inch. Just to give it a good fold. I need to make sure that your ends are melted so they don't fray. Fold that over about an inch. And then fold it onto that back part of the strap, tightening it up. And then we're going to clip it and do the same for the other side. So this is how it looks on the top. And this is how it's going to look on the underneath with it folded and clipped. And we're going to do exactly the same thing for the other side. And I'm just going to fold this over, and I'm going to make sure that it's the same amount that I'm folding it over on this side. A little touch more. There we go. And then fold it over onto the underside strap and clip. And then I like to make sure that both of these are the same and they're even. So this one looks a little, this one's definitely bigger. So I'm going to shorten that up. Okay, and then I'll just make sure that these two are the same so that our straps are even. Okay, just line these guys up and ensure that we have the same amount of overhang. Okay, perfect. Now we are going to just pull the top strap away, and we're going to do a row of stitching and a row of stitching. And we're just stitching the bottom to the bottom strap. All right, and then we'll just take a lighter to those threads. My window open, I have to do it down here so it doesn't blow out. All right. So there is our strap. Oops, going this way. We can tighten that up for now. Okay. Just want to make sure that they're even. If I pull them all the way to the top, okay, there's our back of the backpack, and I'll be back. Okay, working on the front panel. You're going to take your side panel that has your accent strip on the right hand side and lay that right side up. And then you're going to take your front panel and you're going to right side down, so right sides together, and line up these edges and clip, and then we're going to stitch them together. Ensure that your top edge matches and your bottom edge matches. And everything's lined up. Okay, and we're going to stitch down this side at the seam allowance in the pattern. Holly does have in the pattern that after you stitch the main seam, you can come in about a 1/16 of an inch from there and stitch it. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to do the one stitch line. A lot of layers here, so know your machine and know what your machine can handle. Okay, pull the pieces open, and then you're going to top stitch on this side of the fold. Just like that. And then we're going to lay the other piece down with the accent on the left side, and then put the right sides together, and then this raw edge line up with this edge, and we're going to do exactly the same thing. Clip it, stitch it, top stitch. Line up your top edges. All right, this is what we have so far. Really cool. Now, if you had used, like say I had used this navy as the accent piece, or even something slightly different that was a dark blue, it would look really, really cool. I just didn't have it. All right, so on the back panel, there was a measurement to draw a line from the top to measure down. We're going to put double-sided tape just on the inside of the line, so closest to the top. And then the same on the back and the front and side panels, and double-sided tape all the way across here. So with right sides together, I've clipped my straps to hopefully keep them out of the way. So with right sides together, a lot of clipping. We're going to clip both sides. All right, and we will stitch up these sides at the seam allowance in the pattern. When you're at the flap, make sure that that stays out of your seam allowance. It's going to be WrestleMania doing this. Hands cramping. Wow. Okay. It's all sewn. All right, take your side seams, take your sides and flatten them, or center, take your center marks on your bottom. Oh, I didn't cut one of my threads. Okay. Take your center marks and line them up and clip. All right, kind of squish it all down, and then we're going to mark our side seams, or the side side marks. All right, and now we're going to take our base piece, and I'm going to mark the centers on the base piece, 4 sides. And I am going to put double-sided tape around this edge. Some people staple their bottom gusset onto their bags. I use double-sided tape and clip, and I find that works really well. You do you. Some people just clip and they can manage it. All right, take the backing off your double-sided tape and line up your centers. So, oops, open up your bag and right sides together, line up your centers with your base. All right, I thought I was recording and I wasn't. Anyway, put your base inside your exterior and right sides together, line up your side centers and your front and back centers and clip all around. And I love when a pattern fits perfectly. I did not have to do any snips around the corners or anything like that. And now we will stitch all the way around the base of the bag. Tuck your flap inside just to get it out of the way. Unfortunately, you're not going to be able to see what I'm doing. All right, let's turn this. My clips. Okay, and let's just check all of our seams on this. All right, so now with this tape that we put in and the line that we drew, we're going to pull the backing off this tape. I gotta find where it is. Pull it off all the way around, and then we're going to fold the top raw edge to that line. All right, so we have the top edge all clipped, and we're just going to put the exterior aside for now. All right, so we're going to start working on the lining now, and Frankie's here to make sure that everything is good and we're doing a good job. So you're going to need your zipper overlay for the interior zipper pocket, and cut out the center box, put double-sided tape across the top and bottom edge. Just put that aside for the moment. And pattern piece I, which is your interior front and back lining. You've got two pieces of lining. So So we're going to be using those pieces. On each piece, mark your center, top, and bottom. And then there's in the pattern a certain measurement from the top edge to draw a line straight across, and then double-sided tape just above that line. All right, so with one of your lining pieces, with your center marked on the top, there's a certain measurement in the pattern. And measure down from the top edge, top raw edge, and mark it in the, line it up in the center, and then take the double-sided tape off of your zipper overlay. And I've marked a little mark on the center of where my zipper overlay is, and I'm just going to line that raw edge up with my ruler and just lay that down with the double-sided tape. Keep the ruler in place, and then squish it on. And then what we're going to do is we're going to top stitch all the way around the outer edge. And I will be pulling my threads to the back. So there is our zipper overlay. And I'm just going to fold it in half, make a little snip in the center, and we're going to cut away all of this. So snip all the way and slide your scissors under the overlay and snip basically to where the tape is, but don't cut the overlay. And then on the wrong side, I just snip up on either end, fold the lining back just enough so that you cannot see it peeking through to the other side. And then cut it off. Doesn't have to be pretty. No one's going to see this. And do that for the other end. Okay, just like that. Doesn't have to be pretty as long as it's pretty on the right side. All right, get your 8-inch zipper now. I always cut a little extra. And put your zipper pull on. Burn the ends. And then get one of your pattern piece M interior zipper pocket. You have 2 linings. Mark your centers on the top of both pieces. Mark the center of your zipper. I just fold it in half, give it a good crease. And then just use my marking pencil to mark my centers, front and back. All right, so with the right side of one of your lining pieces up and the right side of your zipper up with the zipper pull closing to the left, line up your centers and clip. And I'm going to stitch that on. You can baste it. I'm stitching it. Okay. Now take this edge of the zipper and just turn it up this way and then line up right side. So you've got your two lining pieces right side together and your zipper is right side up, which means the zipper teeth is your right side up. And we'll do exactly the same thing. Close the zipper. I'm going to put a clip at the end of the zipper so it doesn't go flying off. So open your panel with your zipper right side up and your two lining pieces wrong side, and then we're going to top stitch these two edges down so that they lay flat. Okay, just like that, so that it's flat and it looks a little neater on this side with the top stitch. All right, so we are going to put double-sided tape across the top edge and the bottom edge of the zipper. Oh, double-sided tape's run out. Okay, so double-sided tape across the top and bottom edge of the zipper. Alrighty, and we have our center marks. Take that off. Take the double-sided tape off your zipper, the backing off. Okay. Your zipper pull closing to the left. Take your zipper facing and your lining and lay it over top of your zipper, centering the zipper facing over top of your zipper and adjusting it with the double-sided tape. Make sure your zipper pull is not caught underneath. Should be centered, and I can check to make sure everything's lined up and that it's even. All right, and then we are going to stitch all around the inside box, ensuring that your linings are opened, and we'll pull the stitches to the back. And this is what it looks like on the pretty side. So we will now, first of all, pull away any double-sided tape that might be in the way, like probably on each short end. Any double-sided tape that you can see. Okay. Fold. Okay, your linings are like this. So take your top lining, fold it down over top of the zipper, and clip the sides. Okay, trim off this excess end or edge that you don't need. Okay, and then we're going to sew up the sides and the bottom. When you sew up the sides, pull your front lining away. Start stitching up here. I'd go back stitch over the zipper teeth and then sew all the way down across the bottom and back up the other side, back stitching at your zipper teeth as well. All right, and we have a really cute zipper pocket with lots of room in there for what you need. I'm not going to worry about trimming off any of this. It's not in the way of any seam allowance or stitch line. I'm just going to just melt those ends of the zipper a little better. And the threads. Okay, and we will put this one aside for now. Okay, so we're finishing up now, and we're going to be taking pattern piece J, the interior slip pocket, and you have one lining. And your pattern piece T, the slip pocket binding, and one exterior. So I have used the navy, just like I did for the overlay, and draw a line down the center, double-sided tape on either side, and we'll just put that aside for now. On the lining, we're going to do it different than what is in the pattern. And find my pen. Okay, so it's going to be different than what's in the pattern. I'm going to draw on either side, from the left side in a 1-inch line, and the same on the other side. And we have our, don't need our centers marked at the moment, and double-sided tape down each raw edge. Okay, take your backing off. On both sides. Fold the raw edge to the line. On both sides. Put double-sided tape down one side, half of one side and half of the other side. And peel off the backing on both of those sides. And then take each corner, fold the wrong sides together, and match up the top corner and top edges. Ensure that your folded edges are in alignment with each other and fold. Yikes. And stick. Fold and stick. And do that for the other side. Okay. And finger press the seam at the bottom. So this is what we have so far. Take your overlay for the slip pocket, take the double-sided tape off. Line up the raw edge with your center line that you've drawn, maybe just slightly below it to give room for the fold. Kind of line up the far edge, the left edge, with the edge of your overlay. It's a little big. And then fold that over, ensuring that when you fold the left raw edge, it is in line with this edge and that it meets at the back piece as well, because you want those two pieces meeting so that when you stitch them, you catch the front and the back. I'm going to clip. Push the air out. This does get air in it. Okay, I'm going to stitch 1/4 inch seam allowance, and then I'm going to from this raw edge 1/4 inch all the way down, and then I'm going to come back here and stitch 1/8 inch seam allowance. Okay, take a lighter to those thread ends on the very end. Trim off this excess. And burn those thread ends and the edge of that vinyl. All right, there is our slip pocket. So take our lining piece, top side there. We are putting this a certain measurement from the bottom centered. I'm going to fold it in half, create a crease for my center, and you can turn this into a double slip pocket if you like, or a single slip pocket. Okay, so there's my center. All right, so with the measurement on the bottom, first, let me just get my pen so I can mark that center. And on the back side, I'm going to put double-sided tape along the bottom edge. Line up the measurement from the bottom edge of the ruler to the center with your center mark, and then lay your Line up your center mark that on your slip pocket with the center mark on the ruler. Keeping your ruler straight. Keep moving it. Okay. We're going to take this and we're going to top stitch all the way around the sides, bottom, and the other side. Okay, just like that. And we're going to draw a center line. I'm just going to use my blue pen because I have navy thread anyway. All right, and I'll just line this up. And just draw a center line. Just like that, and I'm going to stitch from the bottom up to this point and then back down over top of the stitching. All right, and there is our double slip pocket. Lots of room to put sunglasses in. I don't know that it would fit a phone, maybe. Well, my phone does fit in. It's a little short. The pocket's a little short. All right, now we get to take our zipper pocket lining and our slip pocket lining and clip everything together. Clip the two sides. And sew down each side. All right, so we have our sides sewn on our lining. We're going to peel back the double-sided tape backing paper. I love a drop-in lining. That's my preferred bag to make, so I was really happy when I saw that this was a drop-in lining. All right, peel back the double-sided tape backing. I got caught in the stitching here. And fold. I'm just doing one side at a time. So fold your raw edge to the line that we made. I'm just nail pressing that top edge. Alrighty, now take your bottom, got your bottom base lining, and put double-sided tape all the way. And I have my centers marked, top, bottom, and on the sides. Okay, so open up your lining at the bottom and with right sides together, stick your lining inside, match your centers. I don't think I'm going to have to clip because this double-sided tape will take care of that, I hope. Okay, and we will stitch all the way around the perimeter. We're getting there. All right, our lining is done. So get your exterior and decide. Okay. Slip your bag into the exterior walls with the zipper pocket against the back. Okay. So the front of your bag is this way. The zipper pocket is here. You want that on the back wall of your bag. So slip your pocket in, your lining into the bag. This is so pretty. Okay, and then we're going to be lining up, trying to find there aren't side seams. Okay, how are we doing this? All right, we're going to line it up as best we can and line this up with the lining just slightly below your exterior edge, so you don't see any of that peeking up. Put this all the way down. Try and line this up. Okay. Oh, there's my center. There's the two edges. Okay. And we start clipping this all the way around with the edge, just the lining edge just below the exterior here. It's going to be bulky going over this seam here. All right, I have it all clipped and I'm going to top stitch it, but I'm going to top stitch it because it's just going to be easier for me. I'm going to top stitch it from the inside and I'll come down 1/8 of an inch from this folded lining edge, or maybe from the exterior edge, I'll see. And I'm going to start at the back. I'll back stitch, it's easier. All right, go slow. It's a lot to maneuver around here. And it's done. This is the cutest bag ever. And it's not, I thought it was going to, when I saw that it was a backpack pattern, I thought it was going to be big. Excuse me, like a school backpack. Look at this. How stunning is this bag? Look at that. This is really nice. I'll just pull those straps down a bit and adjust them. So there is the Andie backpack from Purses by Holly. Holly, you did an amazing job with this pattern. And I don't like following patterns. I have a block. And I'm probably not the only one. I love watching a tutorial, but I thought I'm going to follow the pattern step by step, and it was easy to follow. Your pattern was very well written, and it was very easy to follow, and I didn't have any issues trying to figure it out. So let's check out this bag. So we have this beautiful handle with hidden connectors. Really nice handle, and Of course, all my fabric, exterior and interiors, from Sam Fabric Creation in Quebec. So it's maybe, you can see it now, but you can see that this is like a dark. When I first saw this fabric, I thought it was black, but it's a very, very dark blue with beautiful croco blue in the center there. And then the other exterior is a dark navy as well. It has magnetic snap sides, and we'll show those in a second. There's a great size slip pocket here that would fit, definitely fit my phone. Lots of room for my phone, maybe even a water bottle on the other side. So this is really a great bag. And then on the back, we have our 2 backpack straps. But then on the back wall, there is a zipper pocket, which is great if you're traveling, to put your passports in, or all of your valuable stuff that you don't want anybody getting it, because when it's against your back, then it'll be safe as well. And it has a turn lock with this great flap. So here are the magnetic snap closures, so you can get right into it, fit a lot of stuff in. There is a large zipper pocket on the back wall. Nice size zipper pocket with a beautiful zipper overlay. And then on the front pocket, there is, hard to see because it's further down, but you can just see the overlay, and it's a double slip pocket right here. This is a beautiful bag, Holly. Very well written, easy to follow, even for me, which is great, because I do prefer watching a tutorial, and I thought I'm going to follow the pattern. And I love this handle, and I love the fact that, you know, you've got your rectangle rings. This is a great pattern. Let's see how it looks as a backpack. I'll see if that's going to be long enough for me. Make sure that they're even. Okay, let's see if we can get this on without me killing myself. All right, move my chair. Oh yeah, it's a little tight for me. I just have to adjust my straps. Okay, there it is. I think you can see me. Isn't that really cute? And it's not a big size either. This would still make a good bag, because I would probably take it as an example. I would probably just take these 2 straps and kind of hold it like this over my shoulder and carry it like that. And then I have the versatility of turning it into a backpack. Just like the crystal from Lynn's. I use that, you know, as a shoulder bag. And then when I need to have my hands free, I use it, I flip it into a backpack. And that's what I would do with this bag as well. This is a stunning bag. So get the pattern. It's in the description box below. Thank you so much, Holly, for writing this pattern. This is a stunning bag. Oh, and I forgot, and there's purse feet on the bottom as well. Alrighty, so please remember to give me the thumbs up, like, comment, subscribe, and share. It goes a long way. I do get a lot of comments, and international comments. And before I forget, I believe it was Ida. Her name is Ida. Let me check my phone. Yes, Ida. Okay, I'm Ida from Norway. I'm not going to try and say the last name, but Svensson. Ida sent me a text and connected with me through Facebook Messenger, which was wonderful, and asked me if I was going to be doing the Andie backpack from Purses by Holly. And I said that that was definitely on my list, and that was actually going to be the next bag that I made. So thank you, Ida, for asking me to do this and suggesting it as well. It's a great bag to make, and it's definitely not going to be my last one. So thanks, guys, for being here, and we'll see you at the next tutorial.